What's the most disturbing thing you've ever seen that was disguised as tradition? Growing up in my house, my parents had this bizarre ritual they called Truth Hour. Every Sunday at exactly 6 p.m., we'd all gather in the living room, and everyone had to confess something bad they'd done that week. My parents claimed it was an old family tradition meant to keep us honest and close. The reality? It was their way of catching us in lies and punishing us. My older sister Natalie would usually confess to small things like sneaking extra dessert or watching TV past bedtime, but I saw how my parents would twist every confession into something worse. One time when I was 12, Natalie admitted she'd gotten a B on her math test. My parents spent the next hour interrogating her about why she was throwing away her future. By the end, she was sobbing and grounded for 2 weeks. That's when I decided to break their system. The next Sunday, I walked into Truth Hour with a thick notebook. When it was my turn, I pulled it out and said, "I've been keeping track of everyone's confessions since January." My parents' faces went pale. "For example," I continued, flipping through pages, "3 months ago, Dad confessed to having a drink after work. But last month, when Mom accused him of coming home late, he said he never drinks on weekdays." My dad's coffee mug froze halfway to his mouth. I turned another page. "And Mom, 2 weeks ago you said you were working late on Thursday, but in your confession the next Sunday, you said you were having dinner with Aunt Paula on Thursday." My mom's eyes started twitching, but I wasn't done. I also noticed that when Natalie confesses to small things, she gets major punishments. But when Dad confessed to denting someone's car in the grocery store parking lot and driving away, he just called it a moment of weakness, and nothing happened. The room was so quiet you could hear our ancient ceiling fan squeaking. "That's enough," my dad snapped, reaching for my notebook. But I'd prepared for this. I pulled out photocopies from my back pocket and held them up. "I made copies," I said calmly, "and I've been sending them to my email account after every Truth Hour. You know, for tradition's sake." My sister's jaw dropped. Mom started doing that nervous cleaning thing where she straightens everything in sight. Dad's face went through about 5 different shades of red. "Also," I added, "I've calculated that in the past year, Natalie and I have received 43 punishments from our confessions. You guys, 0. I even made a graph. I pulled out a color-coded chart I'd made in math class. "This is ridiculous," Mom sputtered. "We're the parents. This is about teaching you kids honesty." "Really?" I pulled out another paper. "Because I started recording our Truth Hours 2 months ago on my phone. Want to hear how many times you've used our confessions against us later?" I made a tally, with dates. Dad stood up so fast his chair fell backward. "This ends now." "Sure," I agreed. "That's actually what I'm confessing to today. I want Truth Hour to end. Or maybe," I smiled, "we could make it more fair? Maybe add some consequences for parents too?" The next week, Truth Hour was mysteriously canceled. Mom said it was because we were mature enough now to not need it. Dad couldn't look me in the eye for days. But here's the best part. A month later, I overheard Mom and Dad arguing about his after-work drinks again. Mom yelled, "How can I trust you?" Dad's response, "Maybe we should bring back Truth Hour." I happened to walk by their room right then, notebook clearly visible in my back pocket. They both went silent so fast it was almost funny. Truth Hour never came back. These days, when my parents start fishing for confessions, I just pat my backpack and smile. It's amazing how fast they change the subject. Last week, Natalie asked me if I actually had copies of everything. I showed her my notebook, completely blank except for the first 3 pages.